This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Jam Wagner says, Kurt, any stories from Wrestlers Court, either involving you or another wrestler? And also, did TNA have a Wrestlers Court like in WWE?
And TNA did not have a Wrestlers Court. WWE did. And I remember there was one case, if you want to call it that.
Let's hear it.
It was the writer Brian Gewirtz. He was accused from the prosecuting attorney, John Bradshaw Layfield. He was accused of favoring certain talent to write for them. That talent being me, Jericho, The Rock, and Edge and Christian. And the judge was Undertaker. And Brian had to go to court, and facing Bradshaw, you're not going to win. So Brian had to defend himself, and Bradshaw was the prosecuting attorney. And what happened was, a lot of the wrestlers got to speak their minds about Brian not writing for them. But listen, Brian was told who to write for. It wasn't like that, he got to pick and choose. But he did find chemistry with certain people. And when he did that, he would put a little more time and effort into those people that he had chemistry with. So I understand Brian, but I also understand the boys being upset, because Brian did write specifically for Rock, me, Jericho, and Edge and Christian, I think Hurricane Helms. And so I understand why they did what they did, but the end of the court, the end of the hearing, Brian had to buy 5 cases of beer for the wrestlers. So at least they didn't do anything physical to him. They only, made him buy beer.
Well, shout out to Brian, who's working side by side with Dwayne Johnson these days. I think maybe there might have been a little bias there, if that gives any indication. Was Brian one of the smarter creative minds that you've ever had a chance to work with, especially in WWE?
Him and Vince Russo are the 2 best minds I've ever been a part of in the business. I think Brian was the reason why he was so good is he was a writer. He went to college to write, Syracuse University, and he was a wrestling fan his whole entire life. And being a writer and a wrestling fan, that's a perfect mix to be a writer for WWE. And he was extremely talented. He came up with some of the most entertaining, funniest segments I've ever been a part of. The way he wrote for The Rock and Jericho and myself and Edge and Christian, we were the most entertaining guys on the show, and rightfully so, because Brian was writing for us.
Can you give us an example of one famous Kurt Angle segment that Brian wrote?
Sexy Kurt.
There it is. There it is.
Sexy Kurt. He wrote the milk segment.
Milkomania.
His idea, Milkomania, with the milk truck. Brian was really talented. All the promos I did, it was all Brian's writing. None of the ideas were mine. He strictly wrote everything out for me, and I didn't have to do any work. No studying or writing stuff down. Brian did it for me, and he presented it to me. I would read it, and I would go display it, and what would you call that? I would perform it. Mm-hmm. So Brian was so talented, though. I had so much fun working with that kid.
So what I'm hearing is he was guilty as hell in Wrestlers Court. That's
yeah, he might have. I mean, but you have to understand, each writer is only going to have 5 or 6 guys to write for.
Of course.
And we had like 10 or 12 writers. So, Brian, he might have picked his favorites, but he was the top writer in the company. So rightfully so, he could do that.
Maybe JBL was just trying to pad his court record with that one. Seems like a pretty easy case.
Yeah, JBL can be a son of a bitch at times.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.